It was late morning when I finally recovered my senses. My head felt like gravel being mixed in a concrete droid. 24 hours earlier we had knocked off a small cargo vessel, relieving its crew of her bounty, and alleviating customs of a heavy sack of dough. My ears tingled slightly as the ship's alarm was activated. This meant that there was something new on the horizon, but this was a morning that I could not bring myself around to any new adventure, even though I always liked a new challenge. Switching on my comm. What's going on, Mr. Azorg?
We've encountered a strange anomaly, Captain. It looks like a gateway. It also appears that there's a small nebula inside it. Shall we go through?
Hold off, Mr. Azorg. I'm on my way to the bridge. I quickly powdered my nose, splashing cold water over my aching body, making sure I looked presentable after a heavy night on the booze. I noticed when entering onto the bridge, that all the faces were turned towards me, thinking to myself, what did they know that I didn't? After all, we all had a little too much drink and blueberry cannabis last night in celebration of knocking off a royal cargo ship bound for the stores of the Empire. Plus it was Miss Kitty's 18th birthday, meaning that she was a full crew member and allowed to vote in the democratic way that the Admiral Concord was run. I must admit, when intoxicated, and found myself on the floor of my ready room, minus my pantaloons. I asked, "What do we have?" Mr. Nero took the question and replied, "There is definitely a large body inside the nebula. But there is also a small object sitting at the center of the circle. We believe that it must be masked." Ms. Kitty suddenly said, "Look boys, something's unmasking. It looks like a floating dust bin."
That's no garbage can. See that red face?
Yes, I see it.
Well, that's a raptor cannon. Best we avoid that.
We felt a sudden jolt. Mr. Azorg, what's it doing?
It's locked onto us, Captain. Pulling us in. Must have been your message. The craft is acting like a tugboat, and pulling us towards that large body inside the gateway.
Looks like we disturbed the creature of the lake. Miss Kitty returned. What creature? What lake? Never mind, Kate. I was being colloquial. Commander Azorg, please send it a digital postcard.
What message, Captain?
Quicker than an artisan praying mantis, I answered, friend. My chief of nuts and spanners, Mr. Vince, joined us on the bridge. He apologized regarding our shields. I returned that no time would be a good time but understood it had to be done. He then said that the craft which we had encountered was designed specifically to guard mining communities, which he suggested must be operating on the surface. I turned to Nero and requested the makeup of the planet. Nero came back quickly. 1/3 is made up from solid carbon. The atmosphere is thin, and is made up of 70% nitrogen, and 16% oxygen, but there are microscopic particles of quartz in the air. Well, I'm going down to take a look. After all, diamonds are a girl's best friend. Ms. Kitty, you're with me. We entered into the third tunnel. Sat on a cement block was a cazoid miner. These were creatures that been bred specifically to dig. They could survive most harsh conditions. I drew my electric prod stick. Kate drew her boom boom sonic blaster. Even though these creatures were quite passive, we weren't going to take any risks. He seemed very agitated, babbling on about the madness that had just happened. I asked him, what madness? He replied that their line manager had gone insane, and was hunting them down, eliminating everyone. I asked who owned the executive jet on the landing pad. He said it belonged to Sarah Grill, who was the personal assistant to the company's president. Why is she here? I returned. He continued with agitation, that they had found the mythical diamond of Cronos. I put 2 and 2 together. If they had found what they thought they had found, then it was logical for them to eliminate all witnesses. So in my mind, Miss Krill had reprogrammed the line manager to neutralize the Kazoids. We walked through the steel corridors only to discover the carnage. I'd seen this handiwork before. The miner mentioned Sarah Krill. Well, Sarah was no personal assistant. She was head of the Empire's Secret Service, and traveled with her bodyguard, a robot called Gove, who was her dirty pair of hands, and this scene had his prints all over it. We moved into the final chamber, and there it was, the mythical diamond of Cronos. It was an amazing sight to behold. The door suddenly opened. There she stood with her knuckle-headed accomplice Gove. She was brandishing an antique silver Colt 45 with a fossil bone handle. Oh, what an assembly. Oh, what a dream. It's the elusive Captain Lee who's never been seen, I replied. There in the distance, sitting on a hill. It's the death of a city. Thanks to Sarah Krill. My poem must have hit a raw nerve. She pointed her Colt directly at my head, saying, "It will give me the greatest of pleasure to watch Gove tear you from limb to limb while you're still alive. And send the parts back to your ship, as a reminder, not to mess with the Empire." She continued, "And as for little Miss Kitty who's 18 today, I can hear the auctioneer's hammer fall, as they take her away."